Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show, coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends from DVCResaleMarket.com, Ms. Jody Gross.
Hello.
From DVCRentalStore.com, Mr. Paul Krieger.
Hey, everybody.
And from MoneraFinancial.com, Ms. Amy Krieger.
Hello.
And back in the production nook, our newest producer, Mr. John Sakari, producing his first show. It's baby's first show. Aww. Okay, so before we get started, just a reminder, as I always do before we start these shows, this show, along with all the DVC content we produce, brought to you by the World of DVC, the three companies I just mentioned, DVCResaleMarket.com, where you can buy your next DVC resale contract, DVCRentalStore.com, where you can rent out your points, or if you'd like to try DVC before you buy, you can rent some points there, which I'm in the process of doing for Grand Californian. My first time.
Ooh. So you just stayed there recently, right?
I just stayed there in March.
So you're going back.
And we're doing that Alani trip again. And I like, because I did the Alani trip and then did a few nights in Disneyland. I really like that. Mm-hmm. And I like staying at the Grand.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, renting out those points for that, for a 2-bedroom unit was considerably cheaper than what the current rack rate is to stay at the Grand Californian.
Oh, yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've got the deal for you. If you want the Pete Werner to stay in your Disney Vacation Club villa, DVCRentalStore.com.
So, all right, this week we are going to talk about, I almost forgot, Monera Financial, the crack dealers of the DVC world. We can finance your DVC resale contract, MoneraFinancial.com. All right, this week, Paul did an article recently on DVCFan.com called Dear DVC, Here's What I Want Back. And last month, Amy yelled at DVC, and this month, it's Paul's turn to yell at DVC. So what is it you want back, Paul?
I don't know if it was so much of a yell, but just a mild, talking to or something like that. Truthfully, I love the idea, and we've talked about this. I love this whole Dear DVC idea in terms of a lot of things that have either been taken away or have been lost with Disney Vacation Club over the years. But even more so, we could turn this into something that, Dear DVC, you did this right, and I do want to applaud them for when they do things right, although it is rare.
It's
sort of not all that popular. But we recently had a 2-night stay at Beach Club Villas, and it was really our first time really diving fully back into the Disney Vacation Club resorts as Florida locals. So it was our first sort of trip since we've lived down here. And we had the opportunity to observe some things that have gone away in the past 2 years, some things that haven't come back. So truthfully, on the surface, you're probably expecting some rant of all rants here. And as I said in the article, that's not what this is about. This is just sort of little small things at the resorts that, man, these are the things that really made it feel like home that I wish we could bring back. So the first thing that I listed here is decorative bedding. Right now, we are in this, I understand it's easy, but we've just got sterile white linens in every Disney Vacation Club resort, and gone are the days of bed runners, throw pillows, and all of those type of things that really brought charm and character into the resort that you're staying at. I know the picture that I used within the article was of the Polynesian villas, and you used to have between the couch and the bed, you had at least 4 throw pillows, you had a bed runner. Previously they've even done stuff where the shower curtains have been decorative and stuff like that. And it's just, I feel like we're losing that charm of the DVC villas.
And I want to point something out here. These may seem like small things. These may seem like small things. But during a time where I think it's safe to say the membership isn't thrilled, doing some small things can go a long way to maybe changing the narrative
Absolutely.
about how we feel about DVC. More importantly, how we feel about the management of DVC. Small things can go a long way. You know, there were the rumors going around not too long ago that they were going to get rid of giving out the backpacks and replace them with pop sockets. And we had a field day. We had an absolute field day on this show talking about pop sockets. And I know they watch the show.
And they did not give out pop sockets, and I bet that's why.
I hope so. I hope that was at least part of the reason why that we shamed them into not doing something that stupid. But here are opportunities. This list that Paul has, here are opportunities to change the narrative. Something as simple as decorative bedding. Just adds a little something extra to the room when you go in. Rooms that are already gorgeous. It's not like these are crappy rooms without decorative bedding, but it adds that little extra element that makes you feel welcome.
It makes it Disney.
Makes it Disney.
We have Ritz-Carltons here. We have JW Marriott's and a lot of other really nice hotels. But people that join DVC, I mean, obviously they have that option to stay at one of those nice hotels, but they want to stay at Disney for the theming. And the more they take that away, the more it starts to feel like just a regular hotel room. And that doesn't apply to me, in my opinion, just to COVID. It happened a lot with some of the refurbs that they did. They just took away a lot of the cute theme.
Character.
Yeah, the character.
They took away character.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And just the, the color and the bright. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Disney. Make it kind of, it can be kind of kitschy, and it wouldn't look maybe appropriate for in a Ritz-Carlton room or any other hotel room even close by, but it is Disney. They're known for their over the top theming. That's what makes them wonderful. I think go back to doing what you do best, and that's the theming and the magical, just feeling magical when you walk into a room instead of a sterile hotel room.
Yeah. On that same similar note, because you were talking about, how beautiful a lot of the DVC rooms are, there are some that are not. And something that I really miss that I wish that they would bring back at the condo association meeting, they used to give out a refurbishment schedule so that we had an idea of when, the new refurbishments were coming up, what resorts were next. And now without that, we're starting to see some wear and tear in some of these resorts. And, some of us are just feeling like, when's this going to get addressed? How long are we going to be waiting? I know Boulder Ridge, I feel really bad right now for Boulder Ridge owners. Boulder Ridge has needed a refurb, like 2 years ago. And so originally it was part of the schedule. It is supposed to be coming up soon, hopefully the end of this year. But, without getting that refurbishment schedule at the condo association meeting like we used to, we don't really have a real clear picture of when that might be.
Well, and to your point, this goes to the larger issue that I've certainly been complaining about for the last 2 years, is the incredibly inept communication with the membership. All through COVID, the communication with the membership was terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. And here, these are actionable items. A little more transparency. You want to change, this assumes, all of this assumes goodwill on your part, that you actually care about changing the relationship you have with the membership, because right now it's not good. In case you haven't noticed, it's not good.
No.
And communication certainly go a long way.
Yeah.
We've been sitting here rocking back and forth waiting for the Boulder Ridge refresh or rehab.
Yeah, and we're getting our communication on that from members who are staying. And I think we had a member and DVC fan. Her name's Amy Power. She's very active in the group. Very, very nice person. And she had a cast member knock on her door, come in at Boulder Ridge, and said they wanted to measure something for the refurb. And they said, it was starting around October. That's where we're getting our news. So, you know what I mean? And take of it what you will. It's a cast member, it's what they heard. So it's not transparent, it's not coming from where it should be coming from.
No, it's not. And we have to read tea leaves to figure out what's going to happen. And here's the other part of that. We're entitled to that communication. We're not asking for a favor here. We spend real money doing this. We spend real money to be part of Disney Vacation Club. We're entitled to that communication. We're entitled to be told what's going on. And I'm not one to go overboard with entitlement. But we deserve better. We deserve that communication. And you're simply not giving it to us. And then you make a big deal. This cracked me up. You make a big deal over this new feedback thing you're doing, where you're going to make it easier for members to. I'm still trying to find where it is. Okay, I have poured over the member website, trying to find where this feedback form is, because I've got feedback for you. But the easiest way for me to do it is to walk down the hall, come in here, sit here, turn that camera on, and tell you you're messing up. Not the word I want to use, but I don't want an explicit rating on this video.
It's a family show.
It's a family show. But this is the stuff I'm talking about. You say, oh, we're listening. You don't give us a chance to talk.
It's the best way to listen. Come on.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Because and what message does it send? Well, it sends the message, we don't care. And that's this stuff. This stuff all adds up to that. So let's talk about number 2 on your list.
What blows me away, and we were talking about this a little bit before the show, is we know people at Disney Vacation Club do watch these shows, and we do feel like they listen to us to a degree, but for the most part, it just goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
And none of this stuff is earth-shattering that we ask for. Communication, bed linens, the next one, we're going to talk about mugs. But these are things that would make your member base happy, which would in turn make them want to buy more points, which would in turn bring them to the parks more and sell more tickets and more dining. And it's how do you lose sight of the fact that by doing these things for your members, these small things for your members, not only are they going to be happier, but you're going to make more money. And come on, Bill, isn't that what this is all about? Really? Right. I mean, because that is what the end goal is. Disney's a publicly traded company and shareholders, you got to return all that, blah, blah, blah. But that is what it's about for them. But this is an opportunity for that. Make your members happy. They're going to want to come back.
Well, and it seems like they're looking for every opportunity to make money, shy of making members happy. There's a reason so many people are selling their contracts right now. There are reasons behind that. And one of those reasons, which we're going to get into on another show, one of those reasons is they're not happy with DVC. Now, I'm not there. I love DVC. It's your management I'm not a fan of. And I have to look past that to enjoy and experience the product. I shouldn't have to do that. To do that. You should be part of the process. You should be part of what I feel good about, that it's well run, that the membership is cared about, that there's real concern there. I should feel that. Every member should feel that. but we don't. We don't. So talk to me about mugs.
I want my coffee mugs back. For you, 1-bedroom and 2-bedroomers, good for you. You know, you still have coffee mugs. You've got all the cutlery and all the kind of fun stuff there. But, you know, I always harken back to our first welcome homestay, Saratoga Springs. And I remember coffee mug in hand. I sat on my balcony happy as a lark for over an hour. Real coffee mug, ceramic mug, coffee, enjoyed it. Now, I do understand for reasons of the past 2 years why we got rid of that stuff. But let me just try to paint a picture of what I saw at my beach club villas the other day. All plastic cutlery, everything's disposable mugs, disposable plates, all of that kind of fun stuff. We're in a studio, so all I have is a microwave and a refrigerator, but I still have stuff in case I need to wash my dishes. So why did you give me stuff to wash my dishes when you gave me no mugs? Or no real or to wash, or no real cutlery. And I do know, in talking to some people in our DVC fan community, you know, they will deliver real mugs to your room if you call down and ask them. But you know that there's just a closet somewhere where all these mugs are being stored in every single resort.
Put them in the damn
Just
room.
put the mugs back in the rooms.
Right.
You know, we're moving on. We're in the future now. Let's put the mugs back. It's a small thing, but.
And back to not wasting all that
Yes.
paper, plasticware. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Where's your tree hugging hippie environmental stuff?
Yeah. They're not. I was happy to see a few more recycle stations than I had in the past at some of the resorts, but yeah, I think the disposable is probably something that needs to. I mean, have the option if you want to take a cup and go, but have some real silverware, cutlery, mugs,
And that's
all that.
that's the point of DVC, is to feel like you're at home
At home.
and not at a hotel room.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this in the article. I've now added just basically to my Disney packing list, bring your mug, because
You really need a mug, don't you,
no-
to enjoy coffee?
I'm a coffee snob. I enjoy my coffee.
Okay.
I don't want to drink it out of paper in most cases.
Gotcha.
The last one on the list that we wrote down was in-room dining.
Amen.
And this is one that, again, it just baffles me how little sense it makes, because if we go back to, you know, when Disney reopened a year and a half ago, or I've lost track of how long ago it was at this point, but, you know, the mindset was that, you know, social distancing, keeping
Right.
away from other people, all of that kind of stuff, but no in-room dining,
Right.
because that would keep you away from other people.
Right.
And so for a period of time, there was no in-room dining. And then we saw it basically start to pepper back into certain resorts. On a certain stay, Amy and I had, again, at Beach Club, and this was what made me write this in this article, we were at Beach Club. The in-room dining menu was there. We ordered in-room dining, had it delivered. It was delivered in paper bags, social distancing, mask wearing, all of that kind of stuff. And it kept us out of the restaurants, which kept us safe, other people safe, all the kind of fun stuff. But now we went back to Beach Club this trip. No in-room dining menu. So it's just so inconsistent, and you know they have the capabilities to do it. At this point, I do sympathize only from the perspective of, I would have to imagine it's maybe a staffing issue at this point as to why it's not back. But it's so hit or miss from resort to resort that it's like, make up your minds. Either we're going to do this or we're not going to do this, and bring it back into those rooms. Because again, that's, people want to spend time in their Disney Vacation Club rooms, whether it's a studio, a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, you know, they want to spend time in those rooms and relax. And that's what in-room dining then gives you the opportunity to do. So,
Yeah. I think you can use the excuse that it's a staffing issue for only so long. Now, I get it for some companies, but I have a lot of friends, you know, that were furloughed, laid off, had to go find other jobs during the pandemic, and they were devastated by it. They were desperately wanting to go back to Disney. So, I mean, now maybe they aren't the servers who deliver breakfast or, you know, in-room dining, but I know tons of people who were anxiously waiting for that phone call to go back to Disney. They didn't get it. So I don't know. I don't know if the staffing issue is really something that you can keep using.
Well, it's all part of what I've referred to before as COVID cover. COVID gave Disney the excuse to get rid of a lot of things
Absolutely.
they had wanted to get rid of before the pandemic. And unless we put pressure on, those things are never coming back.
True.
Those things are never coming back. We're starting to see entertainment come back
Yeah.
because of the tonnage of negative feedback Disney has gotten from the fan community over the last year, that was unacceptable. That was a bridge too far. So we're starting to see more of the entertainment coming back. But they would have been very happy to have kept a lot of that offline. And I think we're seeing some of that with DVC. And maybe you think you're being slick. I don't know. You're not.
No.
You're not. These are simple things. Nothing being mentioned here is outrageous or unreasonable. They're simple things. And if you can just look at it from the standpoint of what you can do to improve your relationship with the membership, I'm not entirely convinced you care. I'll be honest. And I'm not trying to be unfair here. I'm being just honest. I'm not convinced you care because nothing I've seen would suggest to me that you do. So maybe some things like this start changing the narrative. Relationships don't change overnight, but they need a foundation to be built on.
Yep.
Little things like this, great way to do that. So if you have some suggestions of things Disney Vacation Club has taken away that you'd like to see back, please mention them in the comments down below this video. While you're down there, please hit subscribe and the like button because that helps us with the YouTube algorithm, and I would appreciate it. And that is going to do it for this week's episode of our show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next week with another episode of The DVC Show. Have a great week, folks.